Cradles and jelly spoons, welcome back to Badgerworks. Today, this is an Italeri Eurofighter, the EF-2000, 1/72 scale. I don't normally build modern jets, but I got this one for a reason. If you'll notice here, on the label it says £5 unused. This model came from a charity shop. I've bought several models from charity shops over the years, and this is one of them. I frequent a lot of modelling forums, Facebook pages, things like that, and there are so many people that say the same thing. I'd really like to get into modelling, but I can't afford it, it's too expensive. Where can I get cheap stuff? And so I thought what I would do is a bit of modelling on the cheap. So we're going to build this model, but we're going to build it as cheaply as we can. So with that in mind, I've been out, I bought some kit. There was some kit I already had, there's some I've bought, in order to build this as cheaply as possible. So to start with, I'm going to show you some of the kit that I've bought, and then we'll build the model and see how we get on with it. So the first couple of bits, scissors and tweezers. These came from the pound shop. So there's two pairs of tweezers in there, there's a pair of scissors. They're not the greatest in the world, but I've tried them and they actually work quite well. So we'll be using those. For brushes, we're going to use these. Again, from the pound shop. These are nail art brushes. It's a 7-piece set. One of the pieces is a cuticle tool. But there are 2 flat brushes, 2 pointed brushes, a line brush and a fan. They're not the greatest brushes in the world, but they'll do for what we're going to do. So that's £1 there. For snippers, Xuron flush cutters. Now everybody's going to say, oh, they're not cheap, they're really expensive. These I bought from China. They came from eBay, they came from a Chinese vendor, and I don't know quite how this has come about. I don't know whether they're just a copy or... But, I mean, they're Xuron branded. I have actually tried them, and they work really, really well. They are very, very nice cutters. These were less than £1. I actually bought 5 pairs of these. And with the discount, I got a further discount for buying multiple pairs. But they were less than £1 a pair. So we'll use those. We're also going to need things like cotton buds. So we've got cotton buds here, and there's some more here. Now these are just normal everyday cotton buds. These came from Asda, but you can get these from the pound shop. Get the ones with the plastic stick. Try and avoid the ones with the paper stick because they just fall apart. Obviously when you get rid of them, recycle them. But what you can also use these plastic sticks for is making rigging and stuff like that, and we might have a look at that later. These ones are really nice. I've got an open box here, because these ones actually have a point on one end. You can see that very well. They have a point and they have a flat end, so they're really handy. You get less of them in the box, but I think they're £1 a box. But again, you can get them from the pound shop as well. For masking tape, this is, I don't know if you can see that in there, this is Vibac masking tape. It's really good stuff. It's obviously meant more for decorators and car body shops and things like that, but it does the job really well. This is a 19mm, 3/4 of an inch, but you can cut it down to whatever size you want. So, and I bought, I think, 10 rolls of this for about £5. Now we're going to need a knife. Now normally I use this. It's a Swan Morton scalpel with number 11 blades, but we're going to use this. This is a knife that I bought as part of a set. Came from Homebase or B&Q or somewhere like that. I think it was about £3 for the set, and it came with a couple of handles and several blades. Admittedly, the blades that came with it were absolute rubbish. you will need to get decent blades. There are certain things you can't skimp on, and you need to get decent blades. I always buy Swan Morton blades. They're absolutely fantastic. They're razor sharp, and they're cheap as well. I mean, people think they're expensive, but they're not. A pack of blades like this, there's 5 blades in there. They're surgical steel, but they're not sterile. That's 75p. I bought these at a model show. There's a chap I buy from at a model show, and every time I see him I buy a few packs of these. So yeah. For glue, we're going to use this. This is Revell Contacted Professional. Normally I use Tamiya extra thin glue, but this came free with another model that I bought from a charity shop. There's loads in there. There's enough to build hundreds of models in there, and it's good stuff, so we're going to use that. Now, perhaps the most important tool of all, the airbrush. Now, normally when I airbrush, I use this. This is a Harder and Steenbeck Evolution. It's an absolutely amazing brush. It really is. I cannot sing the praises of this brush enough. It's an absolutely beautiful bit of kit. It's also £120. It's a lot of money. It's very expensive. So we're not going to use this brush. We're going to use this brush. Now, this is a set that I bought from eBay, from China. It's a clone of an Iwata brush. But this is actually a really nice brush. This was about £12, so a tenth of the price of the Harder and Steenbeck. It's adjustable. You can adjust the backstop. It comes with 3 nozzles. There's the 0.2mm is in it. There's a 0.3, a 0.5 nozzle, and it also comes with a hose. Now, I use a hose that's on my compressor, but yeah, this is actually quite a nice brush. And if you actually look inside it, I don't know whether you can see that, but it's actually really nice inside, because you can literally put like a drop of paint in there and it will work perfectly. These brushes tend to be a bit crusty when you get them. The reason a lot of people have problems with these brushes is because, in order to save money, obviously, they're not finished very well. But all you need to do is take the needle out, polish it with some fine wet and dry, and it will work perfectly. It really will. It's a lovely little brush. I use this a lot as it goes, but for this particular job, we're going to use nothing but this brush. It's not as good as the Harder and Steenbeck, but it is a perfectly serviceable brush, and it's a tenth of the price. So that's what we'll be using. I have put quick release fittings on it, but again, the quick release fittings, I bought I think 10 of them from China for about £1. The only other thing I've done with this brush is I changed the O-rings. The O-rings that were in it are nasty rubber, and they fall apart, they leak, they're awful. So I have changed the O-rings for nitrile rubber O-rings. Again, I bought a pack of 10 O-rings for about a couple of quid. That will last forever. So, but so there's a few of the tools that we're going to use. Now we need to talk about paint. Now, when it comes to paint, we've got all kinds. We've got Tamiya, we've got there's Vallejo. I've got Mr. Colour. I've got these are Revell, Life Colour, just everything you can think. I've got dozens of hundreds of paints. We're not going to use any of those. We're going to use these. Now, I might be taking things a bit too far with the whole cheap thing. These are acrylic paints that I got from the pound shop. I've never used them. It might be an absolute train wreck, but it'll be a laugh in any case. But what we've got in here, there are 10 different colours, but most importantly, we've got all the primary colours and we've got black and white, which means that we can mix any colour we want from this set. I really don't know how well these are going to work. They're not designed for modelling, they're not designed for airbrushing, but we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. So that's probably about enough to get us started. So we'll make a start on the kit, and obviously we'll talk about things as we go along. Right, so let's get on with it.
Drop the load. Drop the load.
I just wanted to show you a few other things that I bought. I went into a shop called The Works. They're kind of an art supply, but they sell all kinds of different stuff. Hence why they're called The Works, I suppose. But they sell a lot of art supplies. And so I wanted to show you some of the things that I bought. So like these brushes, for example, £3. There's 9 brushes in there, and these are mainly textured. So you've got filberts, deerfoots, and various other. But there's some nice flat brushes in there. This is another set. There are 10 brushes in here. These are mainly round and points, but there are a couple of flats as well. I also got this, which is quite a nice set. £6, 25 pieces. You know, palette knives and whatnot. But there's a lot of brushes in there. Points, flats, all sorts. £6. I mean, that's just crazy. You know, it says extreme value. Yeah, they're not wrong. So there's those. And I also got, just out of curiosity, this is a pack of pallets and knives. So there are 3 pallets in there. So there's a large round pallet, a smaller pallet, a square pallet, and a couple of pallet knives. £3 again. And I think most important so far is this. Now these are oil colours. Now there are 12 tubes of oil colour in here, £3. And if we take a look, we've got lemon yellow, ochre yellow, orange, burnt sienna, deep red, burnt umber, violet, sap green, cerulean, ultramarine, white and black. That's pretty much every colour you could want. I mean, this top row here is basically all your rust colours. Burnt umber, use that for everything. I mean, I use burnt umber all the time. And then with the black and the white, and you've got the primary colours, you can make any colour you want. I will be using these. I mean, it's 12 tubes of colour for £3. I mean, you could pay more than £3 for a single tube of a name brand. So yeah, if you've got a Works near you, go and hit them up, because they've got loads of stuff in there and it's very cheap. Anyway, I just wanted to show you those.
And here is the finished article. I'm actually quite pleased with the way this came out, considering how cheap the components and bits and pieces were that we used. It's come out very well indeed. I'm very pleased with the results. So I hope this has shown you what you can do without spending too much money. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.